I am sitting at table number 4. There are white orchids in a glass vase in front of me. The water in the vase is perfectly clear. 3 weeks ago, my mother called me. She didn't ask how my flight was. She didn't ask if I was healthy. She said, "Make sure you wear the beige dress to the dinner. We don't want you looking too ambitious in the photos. It's Chloe's night. I am wearing the beige dress." It scratches slightly against my collarbone. Underneath the table, resting against my ankle, is my black leather tote bag. Inside the bag is a USB drive, a 44-page legal injunction, and a printed email from 2015, but I will get to that later. If you are listening to this story right now, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments what city you are watching from. The year was 2015. We lived in a single-story house in Phoenix, Arizona. The air conditioning unit rattled every 45 minutes. Chloe was 19. I was 18. Chloe got a $2,400 MacBook Pro. Chloe got a paid summer internship in Cisco. Chloe got a private SAT tutor who smelled like peppermint and drove a Lexus. I got a 2009 Dell laptop with a missing enter key and a stack of printed community college brochures left silently on my bed. I worked at a diner on 4th Street. I made $7.25 an hour. My uniform smelled permanently like old grease and bleached rags. I saved crumpled $5 bills in a shoebox under my bed. I used that money to pay the application fee for the Apex Vanguard Fellowship in Seattle. It was a tech incubator program. It came with a full-ride university scholarship. It was my only ticket out. I built a predictive algorithm project for my application. I coded it on the Dell laptop, pressing the broken enter key with a ballpoint pen. In April, the mail came. We had a green metal mailbox by the curb. It was rusted and leaned slightly to the left. I didn't check the mail that day. My mother did. She sat at the kitchen island peeling an apple. She didn't look at me when I walked in. "You got a letter from Seattle," she said. Her tone was completely flat, like she was reading the nutritional facts on the back of a cereal box. "They rejected you." I stopped walking. I stared at the linoleum floor. It had a burn mark near the stove. "But the good news is," she continued, slicing the apple into perfect wedges, "they saw the algorithm idea in your portfolio. They thought it was a great fit for their business track." I called them back. I told them you weren't interested in business, but your sister Chloe was looking for an entry project. They transferred the application file to her name. She leads an audit. I didn't scream. I didn't flip the table. I just stood there. "You are just a background player, honey," my mother said. She took a bite of the apple. "It is not an insult. It is just your nature. Some people build the buildings. You clean the windows. Both are important." I went to my room. I closed the door. I packed my clothes into a dark blue duffel bag. At age 19, I worked double shifts at a data entry center. At age 22, I moved to Chicago. At age 25, I wrote software on the floor of a $600 studio apartment. At age 28, I sold my first proprietary security software. I pay my own property taxes. I buy my own groceries. I cut my own lawn once a month, my mother calls me. "It is nice you have a little computer job," she would say. "At least you are staying out of trouble." Chloe is raising seed money for her startup. She is a visionary. I would just say, "That is nice, Mom." Now it is 2024. I am sitting at table number 4. The room is full of venture capitalists, men in tailored suits, women holding $100 glasses of champagne. Chloe's startup is celebrating its Series A funding, a $12 million valuation. Chloe taps her crystal glass with a silver spoon. The room goes quiet. She stands at the microphone. She talks about her journey. She talks about being a self-made woman in tech. Then she looks down at me. I am so glad my sister could fly out to be here, Chloe smiles. The spotlight catches her teeth. She has always been my stabilizing force. She is stable like a piece of furniture. The crowd chuckles politely. I don't smile. I don't frown. I reach down to my ankle. I pick up the black leather tote bag. I unzip the tote bag. The zipper makes a small sharp noise against the quiet hum of the banquet hall. I don't stand up yet. I just listen to Chloe. When I started Apex Tech in 2015, Chloe says into the microphone, her voice warm and practiced. I started it with nothing but an idea, an algorithm, a vision to predict consumer behavior patterns. She pauses. She lets the investors in the room nod. I pull the USB drive out of my bag. It is a cheap, red plastic thumb drive. The logo is rubbed off. In 2015, Chloe went to Seattle. She got the incubator spot. She got the full ride scholarship. She got the network of angel investors. I got to stay in Phoenix. I got to serve scrambled eggs to truckers on Route 66. I got to read articles about her rising success on my cracked iPhone screen. But they made one mistake. A technical error. When my mother called the Vanguard Fellowship Program in 2015, she changed the applicant's name on the cover sheet. She changed the email address to Chloe's. She changed the social security number, but she didn't know how to code. Chloe didn't know how to code. They didn't know that when you build an algorithm from scratch, you leave digital fingerprints, you leave timestamps, you leave developer tags buried deep in the backend source code. My developer tag was Dell Phoenix 09. For 9 years, Chloe built a company on a stolen foundation. For 9 years, she raised capital using a core architecture she didn't understand. At age 25, when I was writing software on the floor of my studio apartment, I wasn't just working. I was tracking. I built a web crawler. I watched Chloe's company scale. I watched her pitch decks go public. I matched her public API documentation with the original lines of code I wrote in my bedroom. I didn't send angry emails. I didn't hire a cheap lawyer to send a cease and desist. You don't pull a weed when it's small. You wait for it to grow. You wait for it to wrap around the entire house. Then you burn the house down. Chloe finishes her speech. The crowd claps. My mother is sitting at table number 1. She is wiping a tear from her eye. Before we move on to dinner, Chloe says, gesturing toward the massive projector screen behind her, I want to show you all our growth projections for the next quarter. She presses a button on her clicker. A bright blue graph appears on the screen. The room murmurs in approval. I stand up from table number 4. I smooth out the beige dress. I walk toward the AB booth at the back of the room. The carpet is thick. My heels don't make a sound. The AV technician is a kid who looks about 20. He is wearing a black polo shirt and playing a game on his phone. I lean over his console. Excuse me, I say. My voice is perfectly flat. Chloe asked me to load the supplementary slides. I hand him the red plastic USB drive. He doesn't look up from his game. He takes the drive. He plugs it into the main deck. He drags the file folder onto the active presentation screen. Which one? He asks. The one labeled Origin, I say. He clicks it. The projector screen behind Chloe flashes black for a fraction of a second. A01 Then the blue graph disappears. It is replaced by a split-screen image. On the left side, Chloe's original 2015 Vanguard application portfolio. On the right side, a string of raw, unedited backend source code. In the center of the code, highlighted in bright, aggressive yellow, is a timestamp, March 12, 2015, and the developer tag, Dell Phoenix 09. The applause dies. The room goes completely silent. Only the hum of the projector fan remains. Chloe turns around to look at the screen. Her smile freezes. "What is this?" An investor at table number 2 asks. He sets his champagne glass down. I walk to the front of the room. I don't run. I walk like I am going to the mailbox. I step up onto the low stage. Chloe is staring at me. Her hands are shaking slightly. The clicker rattles against her rings. I reach out and gently take the microphone from the stand. "Hi," I say into the mic. The sound echoes off the high ceiling. "My name is Sarah. I am Chloe's sister. I am the piece of furniture." I look at the crowd. In 2015, I built a predictive algorithm on a broken Dell laptop. I submitted it to the Apex Vanguard Fellowship. My sister stole that application. She has used that stolen architecture to secure $12 million in fraudulent Series A funding. I look at Chloe. Her face is entirely white. "And tonight," I say, my voice steady, like a weather report, "I am taking it back. Turn it off." Chloe's voice is a sharp hiss. She lunges toward the AV booth, waving her hands frantically. "Turn the projector off." Now, the 20-year-old kid in the black polo freezes. He reaches for the keyboard, his face panicked. "You can turn off the screen," I say into the microphone. I don't look at the kid. I look directly at the lead investor sitting at table number 2. His name is Marcus Vance. He wrote the $5 million check that led this Series A round. But you can't turn off the emails. I pull a stack of folded papers from my tote bag. I walk down the 2 carpeted steps from the stage. I hand the top paper to Marcus Vance. He takes it. He puts on his reading glasses. "That is an email transcript from April 2015, I say, my voice carrying through the silent room. "It is a correspondence between my mother and the Vanguard admission office. It details a request to transfer a submitted, fully coded application under the name Sarah to the name Chloe. It explicitly states that Chloe did not write the source code." I walk to the next table. I hand a paper to a female venture capitalist in a gray suit. That is a sworn affidavit. I continue, walking to the next table. From the IP lawyer I retained 6 months ago. It confirms that the core algorithm driving Apex Tech's predictive modeling is a 98% match to the proprietary code I registered with the U.S. Copyright Office in 2016. Chloe is shaking. She is standing on the stage, the spotlight still hitting her face, illuminating the sheer terror in her eyes. "Sarah, stop." My mother is up from table number 1. She is wearing a silk dress. She is wearing pearls. She rushes toward me. She grabs my arm. Her grip is tight, familiar. The same grip from 2015. "You are ruining your sister's night," my mother whispers violently. Her teeth are clenched. Her words are a weapon she has used 1,000 times. A microaggression designed to make me feel small. "You are embarrassing yourself," she says. "You are just jealous. You have always been jealous. People are laughing at you. Put the papers away." 5 years ago, I would have dropped the papers. 10 years ago, I would have apologized. Today, I look at her hand on my arm. "Take your hand off me," I say. I don't yell. I don't raise my pitch. I say it like I am asking someone to pass the salt. My mother flinches. She lets go. I turn back to the room. Marcus Vance places the paper flat on the table. He looks at Chloe. Chloe, Marcus says. His voice is deep. It sounds like gravel. Did you write the baseline code for this platform? Chloe grips the microphone stand. Marcus, this is absurd, she stammers. Her perfectly practiced CEO persona is melting. She is my sister. She has mental health issues. She has been obsessed with my success for years. She fabricated these documents. She didn't fabricate the developer tags, a voice says from the back of the room. It is a tech auditor from Vance's firm. He is staring at his tablet. He had been verifying the slides the moment they went up. The API endpoints on your live product match the timestamp on the screen. The root architecture was built by Dell Phoenix 09. We asked you about that tag during due diligence. You told us it was a dummy name you used in college. The room shifts. It is a physical sensation. You can feel the money evaporating from the air. Chloe got the spotlight. Chloe got the applause. Chloe got the applause. Chloe got the champagne. I got the receipts. You committed fraud, Marcus Vance says quietly. He stands up. He buttons his suit jacket. You lied on the prospectus. You lied to the board. You solicited $12 million using stolen intellectual property? No. Chloe cries out. She drops the clicker. It shatters on the stage. I built the business. The code was just the foundation. I did the networking. I did the scaling. It's my company. She looks at our mother for help. My mother is paralyzed. The script she wrote for our lives has been torn to shreds, and she doesn't know how to ad-lib. The foundation is everything, Marcus Vance says. He picks up his briefcase. The term sheet is pulled. He announces to the room, "We're triggering the fraud clawback clause on the seed funding." He looks at his legal team sitting at table 3. Draft the litigation. I want every cent of our initial investment returned by Monday, or we file criminal charges with the SEC. Chairs scrape against the floor. One by one, the investors stand up. They don't say goodbye to Chloe. They don't look at my mother. They walk past the table with the white orchids. They walk out the double doors. In less than 3 minutes, the $12 million valuation drops to 0. I stand in the middle of the room. I am holding the empty tote bag. Chloe collapses into a chair on the stage. She puts her head in her hands and starts to sob. Loud, ugly, heaving sobs. My mother stares at me. Her face is pale. The pearls look heavy around her neck. What did you do? My mother whispers, "You destroyed her. You destroyed your own family." Over a computer program, I look at her. I didn't destroy anything, I say. My tone is the same as the day she told me I didn't get into the program. I just cleaned the windows so everyone could see what was inside. I turn around. I walk toward the exit. The valet brings my car around. It is a black Lexus sedan, not flashy, just quiet and reliable. I tip him a crumpled $5 bill. It is an old habit from Phoenix. I like the texture of physical money. It grounds me. I drive back to my hotel in silence. No music, just the hum of the engine and the rhythm of the windshield wipers pushing away a light drizzle. My phone starts ringing before I reach the highway. It is Chloe. I don't answer. It rings again. It is my mother. I let it go to voicemail. By the time I park in the underground garage of the Four Seasons, I have 14 missed calls and 7 voicemails. I sit in the dark car. I don't feel a rush of adrenaline. I don't feel a sudden, magical healing of my childhood wounds. I just feel the dull ache in my shoulders. The same ache I had when I carried trays of heavy dishes at the diner on 4th Street. I pull my phone out and listen to the first voicemail. It is my mother. Her voice is shaking, but she is trying to maintain control. Sarah, pick up the phone. Chloe is hyperventilating. The investors took the term sheets. The hotel is demanding payment for the banquet room, and Chloe's company credit card just declined. You need to come back here and fix this. You need to tell Mr. Vance it was a misunderstanding. Call me back immediately. I delete the message. I listen to the second voicemail. It is Chloe. She isn't speaking in full sentences. She is crying so hard she is choking. Sarah, please, they're taking everything. The lawyers called. They want the seed money back. I don't have it. I spent it on the office lease and marketing. Please, you have to tell them we're partners. Tell them we co-founded it. I'll give you half the company. I'll give you 60%. Just save me. Sarah, please. Chloe got the $2,400 laptop. Chloe got the private tutor. Chloe got the private tutor. Chloe got the spotlight. Now, Chloe gets to learn how the world works without a safety net. I delete the message. I take the elevator up to my room. I take off the beige dress. It falls to the floor in a heap. I don't pick it up. I leave it there. I put on a gray hotel bathrobe. I open my laptop. Not a Dell. A custom-built machine I assembled myself. I have work to do. Over the next 48 hours, the collapse of Apex Tech is absolute. It doesn't make national news. It isn't a massive scandal like Theranos. It is a quiet, brutal, corporate execution. Marcus Vance's lawyers freeze Apex Tech's operating accounts. The SEC opens a preliminary inquiry into credential falsification and wire fraud. The remaining employees, realizing their paychecks are going to bounce, pack up their desks and leave the trendy open concept office in downtown San Francisco. On Thursday morning, I am sitting in the hotel lobby, drinking a black coffee. I am scheduled to fly back to Chicago at noon. The sliding glass doors open. My mother walks in. She looks terrible. She isn't wearing the pearls. Her hair is flat. She is carrying a large leather handbag that looks too heavy for her. She scans the lobby. She sees me. She walks over. She doesn't sit down. We have to sell the house in Phoenix, she says. No greeting. No how are you. Just the weather report of her disaster. To pay Chloe's legal retainer. The lawyers need $150,000 up front just to start the defense. I take a sip of my coffee. That is unfortunate, I say. You did this, she says, her voice trembling, dropping the polite facade. You tore down your own flesh and blood. For what? Revenge? You're sick, Sarah. You've always been a bitter, broken girl. I protected my intellectual property, I reply calmly. If a stranger stole my code, I would have sued them. Chloe is not exempt from the law because we share DNA. My mother stares at me. She realizes, perhaps for the first time, that the invisible leash she had around my neck for 29 years is gone. She can't use guilt. She can't use shame. She can't use shame. She can't use the silent treatment. I have immunized myself against her currency. She is your sister, my mother whispers, her voice breaking. She is going to jail, Sarah. They are talking about federal wire fraud, please. You have the power to stop this. Drop the IP claim. Tell the court you authorized her to use the code. She reaches into her heavy handbag. She pulls out a manila envelope. She slides it across the small glass coffee table toward me. Chloe drafted a contract, my mother says quickly, desperately. She is offering you 100% ownership of Apex Tech. You take the company, you take the title, you just have to assume the legal liability and settle with Vance. You have money now, Sarah. You can afford the settlement. You can save her. I look at the envelope. Chloe wants to hand me a burning ship. She wants me to take the blame for the fire she started, using the matches she stole from me. I look at my mother. Her eyes are wide, pleading. The same look she gave me when she handed me the community college brochures 9 years ago. No, I say. My mother's hand hovers over the manila envelope. She doesn't pull it back. She just leaves it there, as if proximity to me will force me to sign it. No, she repeats. Her voice is hollow. What do you mean, no? I mean no, I say. I set my coffee cup down on the saucer. The porcelain makes a quiet clink. I am not signing a contract. I am not assuming her debt. I am not saving her from the consequences of her own actions. But she will go to prison. My mother suddenly raises her voice. A businessman reading the Wall Street Journal 2 tables away glances over. Then she will go to prison, I say. I say it with the exact same tone she used when she told me I didn't get into the Vanguard Fellowship. Flat. Factual. The nutritional information on a cereal box, my mother's face contorts. The desperation curdles into pure, unfiltered hatred. You are a monster, she spits. You waited all these years just to destroy us. You are dead to me. Do you hear me? You are not my daughter. I look at her. I don't feel a sting in my chest. I don't feel the urge to cry. The emotional nerve endings that used to connect me to this woman have been cauterized for years. I haven't been your daughter since 2015, Mom, I say quietly. I was just the furniture, and the furniture has finally been moved out. I stand up. I don't look at the envelope. I pick up my laptop bag. Sarah? My mother yells, her voice cracking, echoing slightly in the vast marbled lobby. You walk away now and you have no family. You will be completely alone. No one will ever love a cold, calculating machine like you. I stop walking. I don't turn around. She is right. A small, quiet voice in my head whispers the thought. The ghost of the 18-year-old girl from Phoenix. It is lonely. It is so terribly lonely to build a wall out of ice. But then I remember the diner. I remember the smell of grease. I remember the Dell laptop with the broken enter key. I remember the green metal mailbox leaning to the left. Being alone is cold, but being used is suffocating. I prefer the cold. I keep walking. I walk out the sliding glass doors into the San Francisco morning. 6 months later. I am sitting at my desk in Chicago. The snow was falling outside my window, coating the city in a thick layer of white. I have 2 computer monitors open. On the left monitor is a string of code for my new cybersecurity firm. On the right monitor is a news article from a mid-tier tech blog. The headline reads, Former tech CEO Chloe, last name pleads guilty to wire fraud, sentenced to 18 months in minimum security facility. The article details how Apex Tech was liquidated to pay back Marcus Vance and the other investors. It mentions that Chloe's family home in Phoenix was foreclosed upon to cover the remaining legal fees. It does not mention my name. It does not mention the developer tag, Dell, Phoenix 09. The court record sealed the proprietary IP details. To the public, Chloe is just another failed founder who faked her numbers. I am a ghost in her narrative, which is exactly where I want to be. My phone buzzes on the desk. It is an unknown number from an Arizona area code. I know who it is. My mother has been calling from prepaid burner phones for the last 3 weeks. She leaves voicemails asking for money. She leaves voicemails cursing my name. She leaves voicemails crying that she is living in a cheap rental apartment and the heater is broken. I pick up the phone. I don't answer it. I press block caller. I open my contacts list. I delete her primary number. I delete Chloe's number. I delete the email addresses. I scrub them from my digital life with the same methodical precision I use to debug a software program. I close the news article on the right monitor. I drag the file labeled Apex Logs 2015, 2024 into the trash bin. I click Empty Trash. A small pop-up window appears. Are you sure you want to permanently delete these items? This action cannot be undone. I press Enter. My keyboard is mechanical. It makes a satisfying solid click. The screen clears. I look out the window at the snow. The sky is a pale, empty gray. At age 19, I packed a dark blue duffel bag. At age 25, I wrote software on the floor. At age 29, I burned down a $12 million lie. I pay my own property taxes. I buy my own groceries. I cut my own lawn. And I never, ever wear beige